Lesson 10. The Storming of the Tuileries Palace. The storming of the Tuileries Palace took place on August 10th, 1792. By 1792, the French Revolution had entered a more radical phase. The monarchy had been abolished and King Louis XVI and his family were living in the Tuileries Palace in Paris as prisoners. Tensions were high and there was a growing discontent towards the king and his perceived sympathies with foreign powers. On August 10th, a large crowd of revolutionaries, including members of the National Guard and sans-culottes, the working-class radicals, gathered outside the Tuileries Palace. They were armed and determined to remove the king from power. The attack began in the morning and lasted throughout the day. The crowd managed to breach the palace defences, overwhelming the Swiss guard that were loyal to the king. They entered the palace, engaging in fierce fighting with the guards and palace staff. The royal family took refuge in the Legislative Assembly building nearby. During the attack, King Louis XVI sought refuge with the Legislative Assembly, hoping to find protection. However, his presence there only further fueled the anger of the revolutionaries. The king was eventually suspended from his powers and imprisoned, marking the end of the monarchy. The storming of the Tuileries Palace had significant consequences. It marked a turning point in the revolution as it demonstrated the power of the radical factions and their ability to overthrow the monarchy. It also led to the establishment of the National Convention, which would later put Louis XVI on trial and ultimately lead to his execution. The storming of the Tuileries Palace symbolised the triumph of the revolutionaries over the monarchy. It represented a shift in power and marked the beginning of a more radical phase of the revolution, characterised by the reign of terror and the rise of figures like Maximilien Robespierre. The National Convention. The National Convention was a revolutionary government that existed in France from September 20th, 1792 to October 26, 1795. During the French Revolution, it was established after the overthrow of the monarchy and the dissolution of the Legislative Assembly. The National Convention marked a radical phase of the revolution as it abolished the monarchy and declared France a republic. It was composed of representatives elected by French citizens, and its members were known as deputies. The National Convention faced numerous challenges and crises during its tenure. France was at war with several European powers, and the revolutionaries faced opposition from counter-revolutionary forces within France. The convention also had to deal with economic and social issues, as well as internal divisions among its members. One of the National Convention's most significant acts was the trial and execution of King Louis XVI. The king was accused of treason against his people of France and conspiring against the revolution. After a highly controversial trial, Louis XVI was found guilty and executed by guillotine on January 21st, 1793. The National Convention also implemented several radical measures and reforms. It introduced the metric system, abolished slavery in the French colonies, and implemented policies aimed at secularising the state and society. It also established the Committee of Public Safety, a powerful executive body that was tasked with defending the revolution and maintaining order. The Committee of Public Safety, led by Maximilien Robespierre, played a dominant role during the later years of the National Convention. It implemented a policy known as the Reign of Terror, which aimed to suppress counter-revolutionary activities and maintain control over the revolution. Thousands of people, including many Girondin leaders, were arrested and executed during this period, despite many of them actually having been active participants in the revolution. In October 1795, the National Convention was replaced by the Directory, a new form of government that aimed to establish a more stable and conservative regime. The Directory marked the end of the radical phase of the revolution and paved the way for the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte.